North Koreans are trained in Russia, die in Ukraine and desert from the battlefield near Kursk. This could seem to be a script for a Hollywood blockbuster about the global war of North Korea against the US or someone else, but with two major differences. It is happening in real life, and there's no American Marines or cyborgs fighting back the Koreans. And the information space is literally blowing up with news about DPRK involvement in the war against Ukraine. Let's hear some of the quotes.
The Russian occupation army is forming a special Burat battalion based on the 11th Separate Air Assault Brigade, with North Korean soldiers making its ranks according to RBC Ukraine sources within defense forces. According to their accounts, the estimated number of personnel in this battalion is up to 3,000. Currently, the process of equipping these soldiers with firearms and ammunition is underway. Sources suggest that the enemy may deploy this battalion to conduct combat operations near Sudzha and Kursk. From the publication of RBC Ukraine news agency.
Also, the Russian General Staff seems to involve Korean soldiers more eagerly than to announce a mass mobilization in Russia itself. According to intelligence reports, DPRK soldiers are being prepared in Russia and they will take part in hostilities on Ukrainian soil, while the Russian parliament was formally asked by the dictator to ratify the signed agreement between the Federation of Evil and North Korea.
Russian President Vladimir Putin introduces a bill to ratify the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement with the DPRK. Thus, the fourth article of the treaty states that in the event that one of the parties is subjected to an armed attack by any country or several countries and is in state of war, the other party will immediately provide military and other assistance with all available means. From the publication of the Militarny news portal.
And what Russia would really like is for the US general public not to know and not to speak about the globalization of war and DPRK involvement, which sees the US as its main enemy, by the way. This is all happening on the backdrop of a very hard period on the front line for Ukrainians. Russians have been using their glide bombs with impunity, combined with banzai attacks on motorcycles to push the Ukrainians out of their positions. In recent months, Russia has begun to advance actively on the front line. In August and September alone of 2024, the Russians seized 5.5 times more territory than in all of 2023. The main reasons announced are the lack of weapons and the change in Russian tactics. If that's not frightening enough, then what must be? Even in such conditions, Ukrainian regiments managed to counterattack and take prisoners, as the servicemen of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade do, counterattacking on the Kharkiv direction. And now let's look at a special operation conducted by the Ukrainian GUR intelligence servicemen. Again in the Kharkiv direction, infiltration and purging the occupiers of their fortified positions.
По готовності один вогонь.
Now imagine what will be possible with sufficient resources, missiles and permission to use them. As many prominent world leaders say, Ukraine could destroy Russian offensive potential and thus end the war. So stay informed, know the facts, and don't let Russian propaganda win.